Today's video is all about the best upcoming new VR games still to come in 2024, starting with Batman Arkham Shadow, which is around a month away, and after playing it, it's fast becoming one of my most anticipated VR games of all time. If you haven't seen my hands-on impressions, I'll leave a link in this video description, but it's shaping up to be exactly what I wanted from a Batman Arkham game, but now obviously in virtual reality. New things I've learned since playing Batman is you can not only grab the vents in his traditional manner and slide them across or pull them away, he can now slide and smash them off with his feet, increasing the speed of the game where traversal was already super smooth. And a question I keep seeing is, what is the gameplay like? Is it open world or is it linear? Well, I've been told it's actually a mix of both. There will be a large open area similar to the courtyard area connecting all the dungeons and levels, which is super similar to Arkham Asylum. Technically, Batman is one of the best games I've pretty much ever seen in VR, and I don't just mean that on Quest. It's sounding even more awesome the more I see and hear of it, and you should definitely stay tuned to the Batman Arkham channel, which is getting a lot of exclusives at the moment. The more I see and hear, I can't wait to play more, and I'm really hoping to get hands-on at MetaConnect and check out the MetaQuest 3 this coming week. Alien Rogue Incursion is coming to all platforms this December, and here is what we know so far. The character you play is Zulu Hendrix, who is a well-known character to Alien fans and from Aliens Defiance, Rescue and Resistance, and is good friends with Amanda Ripley. What we know so far is the gameplay style is looking like a roguelike, and her job is to fight her way to the heart of the infestation on the infested Gemini Exoplanet Solutions Black Site facility and find out the causes of the new xenomorph infestation on the planet Perdan, and seek out the truth of some company conspiracy. You will be accompanied by an AI companion called Davis-01. The aliens themselves are said to be reactive to players' movements and actions. They are fast and attack in packs, so if you are clumsy and knock over stuff in the world, you will attract them to your whereabouts. Even without this, they seem to be intelligent and always trying to kill you, and from what I can tell, this definitely is going in a different direction to the amazing Alien Isolation. In the way, this is going to be an action game versus the stealth game, and everything in the world is apparently interactable. The story itself is original, and the game is labelled as an action horror survival game. Going back to the roguelike gameplay, the developers have said they want the game to also be approachable to new players, and if you want to play it in short bursts, you can. But obviously for me and most of you who watch this channel, you'll most likely be in there for hours non-stop. Survios, however, are aiming for players to be scared, and they literally want the player to rip the headset off. And after watching a recent podcast, it does seem the game will be unpredictable in terms of gameplay and therefore replayability. The developers have said you can play the same level 5 times, for example, and every time in terms of xenomorph encounters, it will be different every time. I really can't wait to get my hands on this one.
I want you to know that I never gave up. Never stopped fighting, even after those things. Not once did I bow my head. By the time you hear this, I will have carved my name on the surface of this planet with a smoking crater.
Behemoth is coming November 14th or maybe December the 5th, if the latest release date is to be believed on the PlayStation Store, but after going hands-on twice now with both PSVR2 and PCVR and bringing down the biggest walking giant puzzle behemoth called the Dreadstag in my last video, I'm now certain this game will deliver my dreams of playing Shadow of the Colossus in VR. Standing on moving platforms and trying to hookshot out of the way from being crushed by a giant claw is absolutely fantastic, and the grapple gun attached to your arm is not only for swinging and reaching other platforms, it can be used to create a pulley system, and I had to use this a lot to take down the Dreadstag by tying his legs together to start the initial climbing phase. I also experienced the combat separating the fights to test out more weapons, and so far everything feels really good. I can't wait to play more, but if it does turn out the game is actually delayed till December, with all these other games coming out, I'm quite happy to wait. Metro Awakening is coming this December and is easily one of the most anticipated VR first-person shooters right now. What we know so far, this is a new story in the Metro series, which I'm really pleased about because I've completed all the other games, and is set in the year 2028, and you're part of the survivors of the nuclear war in the subways underneath Moscow. You play Khan, a wandering soldier and philosopher from Metro 2033 and Last Light, and you must avoid deadly radiation and the masses of mutant threats in the search for your wife and the medication to save her. Some of you may be aware, since I posted this photo, I have now played Metro Awakening twice on PSVR2, and yes, a video video is coming very soon, so keep your eyes on your YouTube notifications. But officially right now, all I can say is both times I've played it, I've had a really good time. Aces of Thunder was originally thought to be a PSVR2 exclusive, but it's now coming to Steam for PCVR users, and it has a mix of single player and multiplayer gameplay. The game will launch with 15 maps and 3 key theatres from the Second World War, the Eastern, Western and Pacific fronts, and will have 20 faithfully recreated fighters at launch. I'm really happy to see it's hitting another platform because VR games online do struggle with returning player bases, and the more fighters in the sky the better the action will be. And after experiencing War Thunder, which has a fantastic free VR mode on PC, things are looking really good for Aces of Thunder. While there is still no official word on the release date for this game apart from Q4, which is what they said on socials, I reckon it may drop late October, early November. Wanderer was one of the best VR games I played in 2022, and it's still one of the most unique experiences I've had in VR, with a mix of action, puzzles and time travelling, making it feel all exceptionally unique. The various time periods were all interesting and all fantastic to explore due to being so beautifully made. The voice work was perfect and the music was great, and the time travelling puzzles were really clever. This game had so much thought put into it. Now the remaster, known as Wanderer Fragments of Fate, is coming to PCVR, PSVR2 and MetaQuest 2 and 3 and promises better graphics and new gameplay features, and I can't wait to experience this game all over again. Not many VR games get a remaster, but Wanderer is definitely a game that I'm really glad to see this happening with. Thrill of the Fight is launching November 21st in early access and will feature multiplayer, and looks to be a huge upgrade to the original that released back in 2016. Get ready to glove up with fully customizable avatars, test your skill while working up a sweat in the new online player versus player mode. Challenge friends or enter the arena through skill-based matchmaking as you battle from humble gyms to breathtaking arenas. Now I did mention this in last week's video that Thrill of the Fight was really a game that wasn't about presentation, it was more about realism. It's a really gritty boxing game, but I can't wait to jump back into this again, especially in online. Arizona Sunshine Remake is shaping up to be a fantastic reimagining of the biggest selling VR zombie game of all time. Being rebuilt from the ground up using the same engine as Arizona Sunshine 2, it's looking to be a pretty unmissable game on all VR platforms, and the upgrading price for previous owners is of great value at $10, and it's arguably one of the most fun co-op campaign shooters I've ever played since 2017. This is looking like a real no-brainer for me, and my recent hands-on gameplay pretty much assured me this game is going to be excellent to revisit. Metal Hellsinger is a violent rhythm-based FPS. The flat version was extremely well received to critical acclaim and is now getting a VR treatment. In Metal Hellsinger, you step into the body of a half-demon hell-bent on vengeance with an arsenal of hell-based weapons where you must kill to the beat of heavy metal music, and some of the artists that are featured are pretty popular, like System of a Down, and there's many more. It's coming to all VR platforms too, and as a fan of games like Pistol Whip, this looks to have a real addictive gameplay loop, but the art style is so much more detailed. The VR version features a full campaign from the flat version, a tournament mode and more. I've also been hands-on with the demo and it was definitely still quite an early build, but either way it did quite impress me. Arken Age is a VR action adventure game set in the biochasm of a terraformed fantasy world created by the Grand Arborist. This game is coming from the developer behind Shadow Legend, and you will engage in full physics combat using Arcanite infused swords and guns, and you can freely explore the densely filled environments under siege by Hyperion's neural corruption. This game is actually looking pretty sweet, and from what I've heard, it's playing really well. It's coming to PCVR and PSVR2, and the developer has confirmed eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering are being used, meaning we can expect some great visuals on PSVR2 and by the looks of it on all platforms. Arken Age is still dated for Q4, but private beta testing, as far as I know, has now been completed, so I reckon we're going to hear a release date very soon. Ghost of Tabor is a constant work in progress, as I'm sure you all know, but the PSVR2 version is coming at some point this year and I'm excited to jump back in. It's the ultimate first-person VR extraction shooter right now, and the trust no one feel of the game never gets old. Grouping up with strangers, raiding together with friends, and is going to hook so many PSVR2 owners, and with the inclusion of cross-platform play with Quest and PC, it would just mean tons of more players online, which is essential to keeping this game being a fantastic experience. I'm not entirely sure when we'll have a date, but I'm still hoping it comes at some point this year. So there it is, the biggest VR game still to come in 2024. There is lots of VR games still to come in 2024, to be clear, and if you check through the channel, you'll find plenty of coverage of them. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What game is your most hyped game for 2024? Please remember to drop a like if you want to see the channel grow, and please subscribe if you want to see more VR content, and I'll see you all on the next video.